Hey guys, I'm over here at the Flash Mountain Mystic Crystal. It is Sunday, March 5th, and you pay your fee, you come up the hill, and I've got my wife's van parked right there because it's not four-wheel drive. It's pretty muddy, pretty much like a soupy mess right over there. You need four-wheel drive. The road will go around that way and then on up the hill, and we're going to dig somewhere way up in there-ish. Flash Mountain Mystic Crystals is located in North Little Rock, or if you're Leanne Womack, you'd say a little past Little Rock, further down the line. You'll need to visit their website to book your dig. I'll include a link in the description below. You'll scroll down to the bottom, you choose how many people are going to do the dig. Also, you choose which day you want to dig. From there, you'll enter in your information. After that, you agree to the terms, and then you can pay your full fee or just do a deposit, and then pay the rest in full when you arrive. After that, you'll have a QR code texted to you, which you'll use to scan in at the gate to let you in on the property. So this mine is located about a half mile away from the Jeffries quarry. We're going to find a lot of solution quartz today. Here's one of the clusters.
You're going to find a ton of them, man.
So I think I might try to work this hole for a little bit and see how it goes. It looks to be pretty dug out compared to some of the other holes. So people must be finding something good. So I'm going to try it for about an hour or so and see how it goes. So this is the hole that I'm digging in for now. I keep a black trash bag with me whenever I go out rock hounding. That way I can have something to sit on, so all the dirt and mud and stuff doesn't soak through my clothes and I'm completely wet. But I've been digging up underneath all there, and there's a lot of stuff hidden in the clay. And basically I take a rock, I rub it off, I don't see anything, rub it off, not seeing anything, rub it off, not seeing anything, rub it off, and then I start seeing that flash. And so you got to check all the sides of all your rocks. That way you know you're not throwing something away that might potentially be really good. So all these right here I've been pulling out have some sort of a flash to them. I'm not sure the quality of what they're going to be like. I'll find that out after I get home. But see, nothing there, nothing really on the side. But there's a few things, a few indicators right there that there might be some crystals. I'm going to assume there's some underneath that mud right there. And get this one, there's nothing on that. But I think there's stuff right here on this top and on this side right here. Other than that, I've got quite a few smaller pieces that I'm going to have to look at when I get it home. We'll clean those all up. But yeah, there's several little small points that should be really pretty. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a little look inside the hole here where I'm working. So everything's covered in this clay, and so like this right here just looks like a little dirt ball. But then I see some of the little reflection there. Lets me know that it's probably a crystal. There is something right here sparkling at me. I can see it coming right there out of the wall, like right here above my finger. You see some of that reflection. So I want to be really careful in trying to remove that. I can feel some points right there. I think it might all be connected to this rock. I'll get back with you in a few minutes as I try to remove it. All right, so my points are right here. So I'm going to come at this rock from this side. Hopefully the rock won't be too big. Yeah, it's not really budging. So I just started moving some of this dirt from underneath this rock up here. And when I did, I saw a shiny crystal face right here. It might just be a single. Yep, it's just a single. We'll keep it. I just pulled this cluster out. It's not much to look at, it's just a lot of dirt stuff. So when I was checking out the sides, I caught a little bit of glimpse right there. You see that? A little bit of flash. But look at that. A whole bunch of little needles. So I'm going to leave this in the clay, which helps protect it while we transport it from here back down to the car. But that should be really, really pretty if it all stays together. These things are very, very fragile. I'm not sure if the camera will pick up on it or not, but this right here is more brown then it gets a little bit more terracotta, a little bit more reddish clay down here. Now when I'm digging for like regular quartz, the redder the better is the idea when it comes to digging for clay or looking for clay. This is solution quartz. It's going to be a little bit different. I've been finding a bunch of little small needles size pieces, itty bitty ones, to some that are 1.5 to 2 inches or so long, and some are like little clusters. A lot of them are double terminated, all very, very pretty. So I think right here in all this clay, I almost kind of want to just scoop up a whole bunch of this clay and take it home and put it through my screen sets, and probably find 100 or so of these little double terminated single points. I don't know if I want to do that though. That'll be a lot of weight to carry back down. Just dug this one here up. That should be really, really pretty. Right down in there. Here's a look at that piece after it's been mostly cleaned up. There's still some dirt in between some of the cracks, but overall it's pretty clean. So I just pulled this rock out, and there's this line right here. You see that line? That was where a tree root was. So I pulled the tree root off. I just kind of peeled it up, and there's clay over top of it. And what popped out was this burr right over top of that tree root, resting right on that rock. I'm going to keep all the clay on here. We'll take a look at it when we get home. But it should be a really beautiful piece. All right, so I'm deep in this hole, just digging in here, and now that I'm hitting some nicer stuff, I'm trying to go a little bit slower and not as quick with like my shovel and just getting big chunks of dirt out, because these pieces can be pretty fragile, and there's a whole bunch of little small pieces. I'm trying to keep as many of those as I can, but I don't want to get caught up in collecting too many of those because that can take a lot of time. I want to go for some clusters. Use my hands when I can to kind of feel around and see what I can find, and use my tools the other times. See, look at that. Look at that, that's a tabby. A couple tabbies formed together. That should be a beautiful, beautiful little cluster. Here's a look at that little tabby cluster after I've got it all washed off. I find that the shovel works pretty good. If you don't have leverage underneath it, you can use it to twist like left and right. See how that's going? And that just works the rocks right out of there. You got to check all sides of the rocks, and there's nothing on that one. And then I just kind of pitch it. And when you remove a rock, that loosens up the dirt around it. And so you could start feeling with your hands so you don't damage any crystals that may be nearby. See, here's a little crystal cluster. It's covered in clay. You can't see it now, but I'll show it to you when we get home. So I was holding that piece upside down, and I had no idea how cool that little cluster was going to be. When I spin this piece around, that main crystal is going to look kind of like a scepter, or kind of like a pseudo scepter. It's a small cluster, but it has really neat formations both on the top and on the bottom. Alright, I'm going to start trying to remove a few more of these pieces. There's a bunch of gravel-sized rocks in here, so the shovel keeps catching. Okay, here's a rock. You can tell it's like quartz, and that looks like a little bit of a flash, like that there's some points right here. The rest of the rock doesn't look like much, but I'm going to keep it anyhow because these quartz pieces can be quite sneaky. And also, tree roots are really good. When you see a tree root, you can pull on it and it'll help move the dirt. Oh, yeah. So this rock right here, it looks like it has some points on it, possibly. I'm going to try to work it out. Oh crap. I just broke that one.
Well, you have some shade to work in.
Uh-huh.
Bad thing about that, the sun don't make them sparkle.
Oh, you can still see them. All right, let's get this rock out of here. Need a little more leverage. Once we get this big rock out of here, that should free up plenty of extra softer dirt where I can start moving other things around. See, there we go. Now everything should start falling out much easier. That's got a couple points here on the top. I'm going to keep it. Now I'm underneath about 1.5 to 2 foot of overhang. As long as nobody walks up above me, I should be a-okay. Now I'm finding there's a lot of, I can see a lot of little points, like there's a little cluster of them right there.
You want to knock down some of that overhang?
Yeah, I will.
Let me get my bar. Because I can knock it down pretty quick with that one.
What I'm going to do, because I've got a pile of tailings right there, I'm going to spread this down and then cover that up.
Put your bucket over there and catch some of it.
There's Kathy right there. She helped me out knocking down a bunch of overburden I had right here. And now I set down my bag so that I know what's on top of it. But check out this little cluster. It's all covered in dirt, but hopefully that should be, if I can get it to focus. It's all covered in dirt, but it should be really pretty once we get it cleaned up. So what I'm doing right now is I'm going through all of this pile from this overburden that's down here on top of my black bag, so I know where all the overburden material stops, and where I was digging at is underneath the black bag. Okay, so I'm going through this pile some more. I'm not videotaping the whole thing going through it because there's a whole lot of material here. Check out this point. Isn't that beautiful? It should be a little cluster, but that's one of the bigger points that I've been finding from here. Here's a look at that piece after it's been all washed off. It's double terminated with a lot of rehealing from a breakage from a long time ago. I love that blade sticking out there on the back side of it, along with all the other little pieces attached as well. Those dark spots that you see, they're inclusions down inside the crystal itself. They're not on the surface. So this is just basically a big mud ball, and what's on the inside of that is a nice piece. So what I do whenever I find a nice piece like this right here, I get a wad of clay and I pack it all around it, so it's just like a big mud ball, which will help protect it whenever I'm traveling, because I don't have enough cloth for everything. So I just pack it all in the material that it's in naturally, and that'll help preserve it until we get it home and get it cleaned up. So we knocked over a lot of the overburden, and now I'm digging into it again, and so I'm starting to get some more overburden. And I've been digging over here on the right side a little bit here as of late, and you see this little cavity right there? I just pulled this piece out of there. So that should have a lot of really good points on there. That's just straight up quartz, that whole plate. It's just a plate of quartz with points poking up all over it. Here's a look at that quartz plate after it's been rinsed off pretty thoroughly. There's still some dirt down in the deeper cracks of these crystals. I've been finding it much more difficult to clean some of these intricate crystals. Check out all the rehealing on the backside of this plate. This plate is literally just crystals on top of crystals on top of crystals. There's several of them in there that are curved as well. Really neat to see all those arched crystals. I call this my Fortress of Solitude plate. I just got this one a minute ago. Right there out of that same little pocket. So I got the noodling around down here and found something shiny poking up. Let's take a look at it. This is actually blue cookite that's covering the tip of this small quartz point.
But I actually quit working on that pocket altogether because I felt like I was doing nothing but tearing.
That's really pretty.
If I'm not mistaken, the blue Cookite is rare, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I've got all this overburden that I've knocked down from up here, and I'm going through the material, and I'm just kind of sweeping it over here to the side to get it out of the way. And look what I just popped out. Flash Mountain Mystic Crystal. I'm having a time of my life out here. This has been a lot of fun. So here's that piece after it's been washed off some with water. There's still a little bit of dirt in there, but I just love that gap in between some of those crystals. Notice there's a little bit of a rainbow in there too. Just got this one out of the pile down there that I scraped down from all the overburden. Looking forward to getting this one all cleaned up. Should be very, very pretty. And here it is after it's been all washed off. Look at all the growth attachments all over the back side of it and on the front side of it too. It is just crystals upon crystals. I've also had this one soaking in iron out for a full day. So all of those colors are down in the crystals and not something that's just on the surface. Again, this piece was in the overburden from where I was digging, so this is only about 6 inches down into the surface. So you won't need to dig very deep like what I was doing to be able to find some nice pieces. Here's another one I just dug up. What caught my attention was just that flat glare of this tabular. See the clarity on it? It's got some extra pieces here on the side. That should be really, really pretty. I'm excited about getting this one cleaned up. And here it is, all washed off. Check out the bottom sides right there where it's been rehealed. All the little triangles and stuff, it's really, really neat to look at. Very, very pretty. I have never found as many unique crystals in my life as I have here at Flash Mountain Mystic Crystals. Alright, do you see the sparkle right there? I don't know if this is going to be like. That's just a little piece. Still, we'll take it. And I'm so glad I did take it. It actually turned out to be a really nice piece. It's mainly a lot of double terminated pieces that are stuck to one another, and they're hiding a little surprise in there. Check out that rainbow. Isn't that really pretty? I still have some cleaning to do on most of these pieces. It's difficult to get all the dirt out from in between all the little cracks. So Kathy was working a wall, and she pulled me aside for a minute to show me a couple of fresh pieces right out of the wall. These are covered in Cookite. It looks like a lot of clay and dirt on there right now, but once you get it cleaned up, you'll be able to see all the Cookite covering both of these pieces. Check out this burr. This burr is beautiful. It's going to have blue Cookite on it. Once you get the clay out of there, you'll be able to see it. But this should be a very, very pretty piece when it's all cleaned up. Well, it's about 4:30. I'm going to go ahead and call her quits. Everybody's heading out, and I've had a lot of fun out here today. I had the time of my life, so I found a lot of great stuff. Look forward to getting home and getting it cleaned up. So half the fun is finding it, and the other half the fun is cleaning it up, see what it really looks like. So let's go home and clean it up and have some fun looking at some beautiful eye candy. So let's take a minute or two and look at a few of the nicer pieces. The difficult part was trying to figure out which ones not to include in this section of the video. I got several very unique pieces from this location. Check this one out. I keep seeing like a spaceship from Star Wars or something like that. It's several double terminated pieces just stacked on top of one another in every which way direction. And like most of these pieces, it still has a little bit of cleaning I need to do on it still. This piece is probably one of my favorites. I call it my bullhorn cluster. Again, these are double terminated pieces. They're just stacking on top of each other in just about every direction. I just love that curved quartz there at the top. This is a pretty small cluster, but it's actually one of my favorites. I love that it's got a larger point and that it's connected to the matrix, and at its base it has several smaller points as well. I found several clusters similar to this one right here, where it looks like pillars of crystals are just stacked together. This is a pretty small cluster, but I love it for the front, and also for all the itty bitty little triangles that are covered all over the bottom of it. I love how it just looks like a flat crystal on this side, then you flip it over and you can see that it's penetrated by another crystal. Also, that it's double terminated. This is another smaller cluster that's pretty fun. It has points just jutting out everywhere. Also, it's hiding another little secret. It's got a rainbow as well. I just had to take a closer look at this one. It had a lot more points on it than what I originally thought. This is another fun double terminated piece. I think this is called a Faden Quartz. If that white line going up and down through the crystal means it's a Faden Quartz, I found quite a few of those on this trip. This is another fun cluster that I'm excited about getting cleaned up. It's another one of those that has the curved quartz points on it. Now I call this one my volcano cluster. It has an awful lot of cleaning I need to do on it still. It's just pillars of jagged crystals just shooting up in every which direction. Well guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and close with this piece right here. I hope you've enjoyed a little taste of what it's like to have a first-time experience of Flash Mountain Mystic Crystals. Thanks you all so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day. God bless.